This is the installation video for the BMW Airhead Cone exhaust. Here's what's included in the kit. For the installation, you will need a 5mm Allen wrench, a 7/16 socket, and a 13mm socket. Start on the right side by using the 5mm Allen wrench to remove the bolts by the rear axle securing the muffler to the frame. Leave one bolt barely in to ensure that the exhaust doesn't fall off during removal. Using the 13mm wrench, loosen the exhaust clamp. While supporting the exhaust, remove the previously loosened Allen bolt on the exhaust bracket and wiggle the exhaust off. Clean the stock header pipe where the exhaust was previously attached. Prepare the new exhaust bracket by removing the bolts from the block. Slide the block into the bracket on the cone muffler and align the holes in order to reattach the bolts included in the kit. Place the angled bracket as shown over the mounting block and loosely thread in the new bolts. Use a few small dabs of RTV sealant on the narrow end of the exhaust and distribute it evenly about 1 inch down the inside of the pipe. Assemble the new exhaust clamps as shown. Slide the new exhaust clamp onto the stock header pipe as shown. Carefully push the new pipe onto the header and align the bracket. Attach the new angled bracket in the stock location with the old bolts. Align the bracket approximately flush to the stock mounting point and just snug up. You will tighten on the line later. Position the exhaust clamp over the cone exhaust and tighten the bolt using your 7/16 inch socket. Slide the exhaust into the desired position on the head pipe, making sure that there is clearance for the brake lever to function properly without hitting the exhaust. Tighten clamp securely to header pipe. Position the exhaust as desired and use the 7/16 inch socket to tighten the bolts going into the exhaust bracket. Also finish tightening the 2 bolts going into the frame with a 5mm Allen wrench. Wipe up any excess RTV sealant. If you are installing a brushed or bright finish stainless exhaust, clean the entire surface of the exhaust with alcohol before starting your bike or the finish may be harmed. On the left side, loosen the 13mm bolt securing the exhaust clamp. Using the 5mm Allen wrench, remove the bolts by the rear axle that hold the exhaust to the frame. Retain these for use in the installation. While removing the 5mm Allen bolts, support the exhaust, then remove the bolts and wiggle the exhaust off the head pipe. Clean the head pipe connection. Remove the bolts from the mounting block. Slide the mounting block into the exhaust bracket and align the block with the angle bracket as shown. Loosely thread the new bolts into the mounting block through the bracket. Apply RTV sealant to the new exhaust as you did before. Assemble the new exhaust clamp. Slide the new clamp onto the stock head pipe. Slide the exhaust assembly onto the head pipe and align the angle bracket with the stock mounting point on the frame. Align the bracket approximately flush to the stock mounting point and just snug up. You will tighten and align later. Slide the exhaust clamp over the end of the exhaust and slightly tighten the bolt using the 7/16 inch socket. While behind the bike, make sure that the exhaust cans are symmetrical. Confirm that alignment looks good and that there is no interference with the side stand and exhaust clamp. If everything lines up, use the 7/16 inch socket to tighten the bolts going to the exhaust bracket. At this time, also finish tightening the 2 bolts going into the frame with a 5mm Allen wrench. Wipe up any excess RTV sealant. If you are installing a brushed or bright finish stainless exhaust, clean the entire surface of the exhaust with alcohol before starting your bike, or the finish may be harmed. Let the RTV sealant dry according to the instructions on your sealant, then get out and ride.